Habits that will ruin your life. Today's video highlights habits that will ruin your life. If they aren't tamed before they take root, they will engulf the whole of you and destroy your life. 1. Being consumed by the past. Every one of us has a past, and we will always have it, since it's the one that shows us where we've been, where we are, and where we're headed for. No one can dispute that. Being consumed by the past takes us away from the present moment. It always keeps us stagnated, and this makes us less productive. May it be at our places of work, at our businesses, at school, and even in our marriages. You can still hear a father or a mother lament how his or her life was pretty before getting married. In life, good and bad memories will always visit. But be sure, the bad memories and experiences hit us hard all the time, and we're left desperate, as we wish that the past can be reversed, for us to live right. This desire to correct the past, while still in the present, poisons our present endeavors and beclouds what we can achieve in the long run. Whether it's your own decisions and actions that you regret, try and learn to live in the present. For in the present, there are many avenues and possibilities for improved living. Let us have the courage to leave the past behind us, for it is not the past that can determine our future, but the present moment. Act now. 2. Blaming and always running away from responsibility. It's very easy to blame people for the situations and circumstances that we might find ourselves in. Some things, like where we were born, the cities we were brought up in, the parents who raised us up, the schools we attended, can't be reversed. But once you're mature enough, you have the chance and opportunity to rewrite the story of your life. Maybe you grew up in a humble family, where affording the basics was out of reach, and you feel like nothing will ever change. Maybe you feel stuck in your profession and can't find a reason to smile, because you were forced to pursue such a career. Maybe you got pregnant while still young and in school, and you feel like a happy marriage is not a possibility. Maybe you got married as a second wife, and you don't see progress in that union, and sometimes you feel like you made a wrong decision. Yes, it can be true you did, but now accept and take responsibility, and bring your marriage into line. Playing blame games and justifying oneself doesn't unmess the mess. It only creates an illusion that we're right. Instead of choosing to blame everyone, you can choose today to appreciate who you are and focus all your energies to act as a trailblazer and inspire those around you to always take responsibility, even if it doesn't have to be them. You can choose today to keep moving forward and refuse to give up, hoping that good days are coming. For a hero will always take responsibility for all his or her actions and decisions. 3. Negative self-talk. In most cases, negative self-talk is seen just like a normal thing, but it's not. And it usually tries to justify itself in many occasions, without us realizing that it does us severe harm, without our knowledge. And certain that you have ever found yourself in a group of people, either for events or for a family gathering, or even in a wedding function, and it happens that you're given a chance to say a few words. Can you remember what you said to a friend or a family member after taking your seat? Oh, yes. Can you remember telling them that you felt that your speech wasn't that powerful? That you aren't used to the whole speech thing? For a few families where they come from, you may hear a brother or a sister say, "No one passed mathematics in our family. Why should I pass it anyway?" We're not a family of tough stuff, maybe you told yourself. I'm stupid and I knew I would fail. We're only good at languages. Such kind of discrediting statements usually kills one's potential and drives one to believe that they aren't smart, which is not true. Negative self-talk can be overcome when we learn the power of speaking positive words to ourselves. I'm good in public speaking. I'm beautiful. I'm a good cook. I'm talented are just a few examples of positive affirmations. One positive word or compliment to yourself can change and reshape your life. Where you thought you were weak and frail, you will be able to discover that you are strong and powerful. I hope from today you remind yourself that you are able. 4. Procrastination. Have you ever heard someone say, "I just keep procrastinating because it's not the right time"? Or have you as an individual postponed a certain task to an extent that it becomes a problem? I'm sure you know someone who got a scholarship and they keep pushing it ahead, year after year, to an extent that the sponsor of the scholarship withdraws it. And the excuse is, "I'm the only one who can handle that office." Or maybe you feel that the moment you go in to advance your studies, someone will take your position. We may take years trying to justify to ourselves that indeed it's right for us to hold to that position a little longer. But the truth of the matter is, it's something that you're probably afraid of. Because if it's not fear, then tell me what keeps holding you back from attempting that task. I can rightfully assume it has something to do with fear. Always keep this in mind. Remember that the more you know, the less you fear. Take some time and reflect. Maybe you're a student and you keep procrastinating, studying a certain subject because it's full of math, and when the exams are near, it's now the time for you to study it. Why keep procrastinating a subject all that time, and you only become serious the night to exams? Procrastinating everything is not doing us right. You may never know what you could have achieved if you didn't procrastinate. In every life, there comes a time to make a decision. To accept such a time is to succeed, but to reject or shirk them is to fail. Now's the time for you to start doing what you could have done many years ago. The ball is in your court. 5. Thinking without action. The greatest asset for any person is their ability to think. Thinking is always to be encouraged. May it be at school, at home, in your commute, when sighted alone, even during a busy day. Always think. Think about your future, your career, your family, your businesses, your spiritual life. Just think, even now. The problem comes when we think without putting the thinking into action. I've always heard people say that the moment my wife left me is when I started thinking. What these people mean is that they started taking action. Thinking alone is not enough. Thinking can only be of help if one takes action. Have you ever imagined what could have happened if the likes of Einstein didn't think and put that thinking into action? Could we have discovered nuance of nuclear energy? What if Michael Faraday only thought about magnetism and didn't put his thinking into action? Could the engineering students be enjoying the study of electromagnetic induction? Absolutely not. What if David Baltimore didn't think and put his thinking into action? Could HIV patients survive this far? I don't think so. What if the researchers and scientists, after thinking, decided not to risk their lives to study the coronavirus? Could we have gotten a vaccine for COVID-19? What if they feared the risk of contracting it? Thinking can only be of value and importance if we take action. As the common saying goes, it only takes a man to think and act to change the world. 6. Addiction to alcohol and drugs. When you look back, when you were not yet abusing drugs, how was your life? How was your relationship with your family? How did your friends treat you? I'm sure you'll agree with me that people valued your presence and saw you as a role model. Addiction to drugs and alcohol has caused a lot of damage to you as the user and those around you. The truth is, you may never know how your drinking habits have affected them, but always know it has. Maybe it may happen that you're unable to marry, or you divorced because of your drinking habits. It can also be that you caused an accident the day you chose to resort into drinking. Maybe you're unable to get a good job because of your drinking habits. Addiction to drugs can cause far more reaching effects, some of which can be irreversible. Stand up today and let the bottle go. It's possible to quit substance abuse and start living a new life today, free from any addiction. 7. Living somebody's life. Most people nowadays want to live and enjoy life to the fullest, and it's a good thing. The problem rises when we start to imitate other people's lifestyles. This comes into play when we change our walking styles and our dressing styles to resemble a certain socialite. When they change their hairstyles, we also change ours. When they go on vacation to Dubai, we also visit the Middle East. In the streets, you will hear both the old and young generation with a slogan, "Fake it till you make it." Truth is, this slogan is taking us nowhere. Living somebody's life can be stressful when you can't afford to cope up with their standards. And this always leads to depression, and in most cases, it drags individuals to use any means to get the cash to still remain in the game. When you decide to live somebody's life, have you ever asked yourself who lives yours? Most of us want to be socialites. No wonder why even young kids beg their parents to buy them smartphones, and parents always go ahead and purchase the devices for them. Living somebody's life is a time bomb. I'm sure you know someone who went in for a loan to buy a Lamborghini, just because his friend bought one. What about that young man who sold land to buy a car, because his friends in the city owns one? What about that lady who dropped out of college to become a celebrity? I want you to pause and think, and then proceed to ask yourself this question. Who am I? Am I an original or just a copy of somebody's life? Are there traits in your life that aren't yours? How did they come about? I'm certain even your newly bought clothing was because your friends bought the same outfits during Christmas. I'm not telling you to burn them, but what I am saying is, live your life. Our neighborhood and societies where we come from should not bother us to an extent. We think that we must have everything for us to be seen as civilized. Whoever lives his life lives the best. 8. Spending too much time on social media. How would life be without social media? I know it could be very boring, right? Especially when you have no company. I see those feelings of loneliness on your face. Most of us can't sleep without chatting. Data packages nowadays have become a necessity. I have a cousin of mine by the name Justin who can't sleep without logging into Facebook. To him, it would be better to be served only black tea, not because he hates milk tea and snacks, but just to save the money of snacks just to buy data. And I'm sure he's not the only one. You may also be sacrificing part of your food money just for the same thing. Spending too much time on social media can be detrimental to our health, and it can also harm our relationship with those we hold dear to us. Imagine a situation where a husband and wife in a house don't have time for family issues, but can spend several hours on social media. Most marriages are on the verge of collapse because of this animal called social media. Can you count how many times you visited your social media accounts from the morning? I know you've lost count. That shows us how much time we spend on these platforms, and we deny our studies, marriages, businesses, and our professions the attention they deserve. Social media should not be a basic. It should not be allowed to take family time. It must only be used when it's necessary and in a good way. I know you're in a dilemma, and you're wondering how you can stop spending so much time on social media. You can set priorities, and through that you can master social media, or else it'll master you. 9. Getting too many sunburns. The commitment to maintaining that sun-bronzed skin may look great, but there's a drawback. It begins to prematurely age your skin. It destroys the fibers that keep skin elastic and looking great. More importantly, just a few sunburns can increase your chances of skin cancer. Break the habit by making a habit of applying sunscreen. Use a high SPF sunscreen to protect your skin from the sun's damaging rays. You can get that bronzed look with self-tanners without the cancer risk. 10. Skimping on sleep. Consistently getting by on just a few hours of sleep can really affect your mood, concentration, and even your immune system. Loss of sleep can affect your body's ability to fight off germs and pathogens. It can also lead to an increase in the stress hormone cortisol, which can trigger stress eating and cause weight gain, which will definitely increase the blood pressure. Break the habit by getting at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night. 11. Irresponsible spending of money. It takes quite a hurdle to make clean money. It's like climbing a hill with a heavy load on your back. But spending it is so easy that sometimes I ask myself whether I lost part of the money. I'm certain you've once gone to a mall and bought some items that you didn't plan to buy. Learning financial discipline is one thing that money can't teach you. You can only learn it when you've already spent to the last penny. Sometimes you can go traveling, and you end up spending all the money on things that don't matter. The worst scenario is when you can spend all the money including your fare back to the city, and you end up stranded. So, who do you blame for your spending? Before you go to the mall or to the shop, first you need to plan what items that you need most. Planning here means drafting a budget on what is important that requires to be purchased. Sometimes our kids may lead us to unnecessary spending. This happens when your kids hold tight to a bicycle in a supermarket, and because you don't want embarrassment, you end up purchasing it, even if they have others at home. Another scenario can be when you decide to take your wife to the supermarket to purchase just shoes, and she ends up asking for more clothes and other kitchen stuff, in spite of having others back at the house. Irresponsible spending is not dressed in red pants that you can spot easily, but it's the casual spending that we find ourselves in day and day out. If you can't master your spending from today and stop the misuse that I see all over, you'll be in a much healthier state, mentally and financially. 12. Self-satisfaction. How many times have you felt more superior than others? How many times have you felt that you're more talented, and thus you don't need other people's input in your life? I can agree. Many times, complacency leads one to think and live as though they don't need others. Self-sufficiency drives people to be unable to unlearn and relearn, and as a result of that, one continues to remain less productive. Self-satisfaction leads one to lack curiosity, and because of this lack, one lurks in a position of not questioning the conventional wisdom, beliefs, to ask, what if? If not changed, this habit develops and renders one impulsive to new knowledge and information. 13. Giving your body free rein. Frankly speaking, there are times when your body dictates you on what to do, and at these times, people do weird things that they later regret. Not being able to rule over your senses and urges allows your body to work against your goals and best interests, and allowing them to dominate and define your life. Not being able to master yourself can result into the development of other habits that will ruin your life and make you lead a less productive life. By not mastering yourself and allowing your body free rein, it can result in the following. 1. Emotional indiscipline. It's when you react without a second thought, and by having a loose tongue, you find yourself offending the wrong people, and sometimes the damage of your words can be really damaging, which in most cases can destroy good relationships and create bad blood. So before you speak, visualize the repercussions of your words. 2. Mental indiscipline. This comes as the result of being unable to rule your thoughts, not consciously conditioning your thoughts and aligning them to your stated goals. This usually leads to failure to achieve the set objectives within a certain time frame. You can decide today to discipline your mind, and your perspectives will change. 3. Sleeping around. When an individual is given too much freedom, may it be at the place of work, may it be at school or at home, people usually tend to misuse such freedom. When you give your body free rein, the body is usually tempted to indulge in sexual activities, and in most cases when the urge is huge, individuals are most likely to be sleeping around. Sleeping around is a really bad habit that may result to unwanted pregnancies, contraction of sexually transmitted diseases, and sometimes it makes it impossible for one to settle in a marriage. Instead of sleeping around, channel the drive to production, edifying, and creative activities. Well, that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found some value in it. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe for content like this. With that said, have a great day, you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.